Today we are celebrating 5,000 members in our Facebook group, and I promised you a free crochet tutorial and a free knitting tutorial for this occasion. So I was thinking about something very simple and perfect for beginners, but so versatile that it's open for many ideas. And well, you see those little flowers, and I'll show you how to crochet them, and then I tell you what you may work out of it. I'm using cotton yarn and with a hook 2.5 millimeters. We start with a magic ring and 7 single crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Pull the ring and close the round with 1 slip stitch into the first single crochet. We are working over the starting thread, so we don't have to sew it afterwards. Round 2 starts with chain 4 and 3 clustered triple crochets. 2 yarn overs, pull the thread through 2 loops and through 2 loops, and leave 1 loop on the hook 3 times. And now work all at once. Chain 4 and 1 slip stitch into the next stitch. Chain 4 again and 3 clustered triple crochets into the next stitch. Triple or treble crochets. Close them at once and chain 4. 1 slip stitch into the next single crochet again. Work 2 more petals like this. Close the round with 1 slip stitch, pull through the yarn. You may cut the starting thread tightly. We worked over it and we sew in the end thread. You should use a sharp wool needle, make a few tiny stitches in one direction through the yarn, always working through the yarn, a few tiny stitches in the other direction, and once again into the other direction with a few tiny stitches. That's it. So I prepared 4 of those little flowers, and now I'm going to show you how to frame them and how to connect them. You start at the chain before the petal with chain 7 and 1 slip stitch into the chain after the petal. Then chain 5 and 1 slip stitch before the next petal, chain 7 and 1 slip stitch after the petal, chain 5 and 1 slip stitch before the next, into the chain before the next petal, and chain 7 for the corner again, chain 5 and slip stitch into the chain before the petal, chain 7, 1 slip stitch into the chain after the petal, chain 5, and close the round with 1 slip stitch into the first stitch. So we don't want to sew more than 1 thread each flower, so we will continue with connecting those flowers. We need to continue at the corner because we will connect at the corner, so we do this with a few slip stitches, with 3 slip stitches into the chain, 1 slip stitch, the second one, and the third one. Voila, we are at the corner. And you don't really notice the slip stitches. So now chain 3, which is half of the corner chain, and connect it with the chain after a petal of the next flower. So just work a slip stitch into the chain after the petal, and continue with chain 2, half of the next chain, now join the other flower with 1 slip stitch through the chain of the other flower and chain 2, and again 1 slip stitch into the chain before the petal, and again half a corner chain, so chain 3, and connect with the corner of the other flower, 1 slip stitch and chain 3, 1 slip stitch after the petal, and we are connected. So continue with the frame of this flower, 5, chain 5 before the petal, chain 7 for the corner, chain 5 before the next petal, and always slip stitch before, chain 7, slip stitch after, chain 5, and slip stitch before petal, and now there are remaining 3, chain 3, and connect with the crossing of the 2 corners. Here we go. I show you one more. Same procedure. We start with half a corner chain, so chain 3, connect it with the chain after a petal, so chain 3, which is half of the corner of the other flower, and 1 slip stitch in the chain after the petal, chain 5, 1 slip stitch before the petal, chain 7, slip stitch after, chain 5, just checking, slip stitch before, chain 7, slip stitch after, chain 5, slip stitch before, and now we connect again. So chain 3, and 1 slip stitch through the other corner, chain 3, 1 slip stitch into the chain after the petal, chain 2, 1 slip stitch through the frame of the other flower, chain 2, 1 slip stitch, and the remaining 3, chain 3, and 1 slip stitch into the crossing between the flowers. My idea was 1000 fiori per 5000 agnelli, 1000 flowers for 5000 lamps, and I'm very curious what you will make out of it. You may frame it with black color. This looks very beautiful, but it's not suitable for video. This may become a triangle scarf or a stole, a shawl, a wristband, a headband, part of a kid's dress, and many more ideas. Show me your ideas and enjoy.